What is required for a human being to find peace, find fulfillment, find love, find freedom? Is to recognize that behind the world, what we know as reality, there is another dimension which needs to be brought into a conscious level for us as human beings. Because we can become aware of that what is behind, hidden, not so obvious to our usual way of perception. It is possible for the human being also to become clear, to become free, and to direct the energy in such a way that it can move towards more clarity and freedom. It can move towards light and not automatically get pulled into that what is taking us into more entanglement, more darkness, more unlovingness. This is what is meant to connect to the wholeness. We are living in a normal way of going. A world which is one-dimensional, a world which looks logical, rational, where we have the impression that things are under control, that we can manage, that we have it in our grip. Yes, to some extent, life has made it possible that on the pragmatic process of life, we are given this chance, we are having the possibility, we are able to go about what is there in such a way that we can say we have a responsibility. So it is going consciously with this responsibility what we have, where we can move towards love, towards creativity, towards that what is fulfilling in a deeper sense, that what is liberating in a deeper sense, or just go according to certain concepts and beliefs blindly, repeating certain tendencies, clinging to certain images, and get more and more trapped, more and more entangled, more and more stuck in a certain idea of ourselves, which is not in tune with the reality, which is not what we will see when we look more deeply. That is why it is said in different ways that one needs to seek the truth. And the Greek seers have been reminding, know thyself. Or in various religious and mystical teachings it has been said, only the truth can make you free or realize your true self or realize your divine essence. These are different ways of pointing out to the need for a conscious inquiry into the nature of the reality. And it is this inquiry which will disentangle from us from all kind of illusions about who we are and what we are, and reveal to us the deeply interconnectedness of all life, and enable us to awaken to the wonder, to the beauty, to the love, to the intelligence, to the care, what is behind all this manifestation of life. And we can only realize this and live with that awareness when we are consciously and deliberately taking steps to bring the remembrance in such a way that we are not following and indulging in the automatic reactions, but consider, look, and let it become more conscious to us what is behind the apparent, what is behind the obvious, what is behind the visible. Then you can see that in every area, when you consider that more carefully and wakefully, you are entering into the dimension of the wondrous, the miraculous, the mysterious, which is preventing us from taking everything for granted, which otherwise we do, and reveal us that in fact nothing can be taken for granted, because everything is there as a present. Everything is there not because we have been great and we have deserved it and this and that. It is because life has been very careful. Life has been compassionate. Again, when I put it in these words, it is trying to say something which cannot really be put in words, because the nature of the reality is so significant, so beautiful, so fulfilling when we become aware of it, that all that what we can say about it is just almost like senseless words, which does not really touch the magnificence, touch the splendor, touch the real beauty of all what is, and the real blessing which is there in this possibility that what we have of being in this body, being in this world, being in this manifestation of this intelligence and love. So one has to take care that one is not clinging to the words and concepts blindly, but just takes these indications as an invitation to look more wakefully and to consider and come in touch with the reality behind the obvious. So when through your own experiential understanding it becomes an insight into the reality, it becomes not a belief but an understanding, an experiencing of that what is. Then naturally and spontaneously it has a liberating factor in it. Through being in touch with the truth of our reality in a conscious way and awakening to the wonder and the beauty of it, spontaneously the best and the beautiful and the valuable in one can come into manifestation. That is why those who are insightful are reminding that seek first the truth, seek and come to recognize what you are, who you are, what is behind the apparent manifestation of this complex and dualistic reality. Because through that, the most beautiful, the most valuable in everyone can come into manifestation. That is just like a byproduct. This is the sense why we are going to have these reminders. This is the background which we will have for this session, to bring the attention to the deeper reality, to the essential nature behind the obvious. And we have to start with just the mundane things. For example, when you drink water or tea or coffee or any juice, whatever you are having as a drink, you can start with that. And before you drink, just take some moments to consciously consider what has been behind this manifestation of this, what we have as a drink, what all aspects have come into play. Consider all that what you can consider and be open to let life reveal to you more deeper and not so visible aspects. The more you take time to consider and be with it without trying to just find some kind of explanation or answer, but just be with it. From where does it arise? From where does it come? What is behind it? What are the aspects which are together with it? Just taking this time to look at all that what life can reveal about it, the mystery behind the mundane. Just the water and you see. Normally we don't consider it. We just say it's just water. And we have it in different ways. We use it in different ways. But the more you stay with this element water and see what is its reality, then you come to realize the whole wondrousness what is behind it. In the Taoism, water is used very symbolically because in the water you can see various aspects. For example, when it becomes cold, it takes up a different form and has a different characteristic. When it gets hot, it takes up another consistency and has a different characteristics. When the water is there, in the liquid form, it is flowing downwards. It is in the pull of gravity. And when it is hot and becomes steam, it rises above the gravitational pull and goes in a different way. So you can, just by being with this, what is in the moment, whatever be the drink, allowing yourself to stay with it without looking for some specific answer, it becomes a possibility to connect to the mystery, connect to the wondrous, connect to the deeper care and intelligence which is behind this manifestation of what we drink. So the first reminder is just this simple step of taking time before you drink anything to be with the nature of its reality and to let all what is undercurrently there to come into visibility as much as it can. Don't try to force any answer, don't try to find some explanations. Instead, just stay with it wakefully. Even when the mind says, oh, this I know, this we have been thinking yesterday, and this has been happening, and this. Watch all these things. Don't make it into any kind of fight. Simply be with this orientation to look and stay with it as wakefully for some moments before you actually drink and go further into the regular life process. And the second reminder is also a very simple but very significant step, that whenever you are meeting anyone, the mind automatically has often certain concepts, some labels, some judgments, some kind of categorizations, and it very easily labels and fixes the other person in one way or the other as good or bad, superior or inferior, special or ordinary, all kind of things, friend or enemy. In many, many ways, the automatism brings labels, dangerous or pleasant. Just notice all these things, but continue to look wakefully. Even when you may be conversing, still continue to be with this awareness and look behind this appearance. What is the nature of this person? What is the nature of the reality? You see, when a woman has brought a child to the world and knows the child, when the parents have been in touch with the child in its most innocent, helpless, pure form, just coming from the unknown, being in this manifest form, so vulnerable, so full of wonder, so innocent, so helpless, and yet so magnificent, so beautiful. so playful, so joyous. In the same way, like a mother who is connecting to the child behind the grown-up appearance of the son or the daughter. Connect to the person in front of you where the person has started. When you are not staying with the labels and consider, then you will see that, like everybody, this person has been in his or her way finding some identification, trying to be fulfilled, seeking love, wanting to be accepted, wanting to participate, wanting to be happy, wanting to be with all what is alive and beautiful. Of course, in this journey we all get into all kind of misunderstandings and mistaken identities and get trapped and often lose the track, get blocked and go far away from that what is really beautiful and valuable for us. But yet, when you don't stay only with the peripheral and the immediate labels and appearance, but connect to the person more deeply, the one behind the personality. Here it is helpful to bring to attention the root of the word person. It comes from the Greek roots, persona, which is referring to a mask which is used in the theatre to bring the voice more strongly out and to display something. Our personality is a certain kind of mask. It is not our whole truth. It is something which we collect, accumulate, get into, get caught in. One of the French pantomime artists who is very well known, who must have become very old, he's still alive, is Marcel Marceau. There is one pantomime piece for which he is very well known, where a person is trying to take away the masks from his face. And he's trying to take one mask after the other and then sees another mask and another mask. He's somehow, in his playful and unique way, bringing this aspect into conscious level of the different levels and layers of the personality with which we have been getting into, identifying with, which are often conflicting to each other. Considering the person in front of you who you are meeting, wakefully, even for some moments like this, even if apparently you have to go into a conversation, but inwardly being wakefully with this orientation, that will be very significant, because When you stay long enough, then you will see that behind all these personalities, there is this one who is like a child, one who is deep within innocent. And when you can see the innocence in the other, you will be surprised. You can also see that it is the same thing in you. Whether you start seeing it in yourself or seeing it in the other, it is the same process. So this is the second reminder, to take time and to bring consciously the deeper and the invisible aspect which is behind the apparent and the obvious in the person whom you meet. At least with few persons during the day, if you can consciously go into it, as I sometimes have been reminding with at least 7 situations like that, that will be a good orientation. It can be more, it can be sometimes less, but orient to it in that way that you allow this to be a chance to go consciously and deeply to that what is behind and beyond the apparent, the deeper dimension of the reality. So this is the second reminder, and these both will be very supportive because it is moving in the right direction to go even further, go even deeper, to experiencing life in its true magnificence, in its true beauty, in its true wondrousness, which is very liberating, which is very fulfilling. So let these reminders be a help which you can bring in practical living. And allow it to be an opener for the deeper insight into the reality. When we sit now, we sit with the remembrance not to go into the usual way of judging and labeling and identifying with anything. Instead, staying wakefully, not going with the judgment, not fighting against the judgments. Whatever thoughts, whatever feelings, whatever sensations and energy processes are there, just notice it without trying to hold to it, nor without any effort to get rid of it. So in this way, stay rooted in the consciousness, being like a witness who is witnessing everything without taking sides. With such an orientation, sitting with closed eyes, we sit the next hour.